My name is Donna, and let me do one more thing. Okay. So hopefully everyone can hear me. So welcome to this afternoon. We're going to do some deep breathing and talk about breathing, and then we're going to do a nice full body scan. A couple things about the breathing and the deep breathing. First, before we do anything, I just want you to notice how you're breathing. So breath is super powerful. So you don't want to do anything to your breath to force it. You want to just start to witness how you breathe first. So you could do this lying down, standing up, seated like I am on a yoga mat. I have a block underneath me. It just helps me sit up taller, and a little pad for my leg. So whatever you're going to be comfortable in, go ahead and get that set up. And then the next thing I want you to do is either soften your gaze or close your eyes. Obviously, this is something that you don't do while you're driving or multitasking. Just find some nice moments. Sorry, let me just. Hey, Melissa. I just want to make sure my video is pinned.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Can you hear me? Hopefully you can. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Okay.
I can. Do I need to go on a mat too?
Just make sure this is still doing what I want it to do.
Deep breathing. I think
All
I'm
right.
gonna.
I think it is.
Okay.
So go ahead and just get a nice comfortable seat. Again, anything, you can lie down for this, you can stand up, you can do whatever you would like. It's more about finding your rhythm with your breath and then allowing yourself to deepen into that rhythm. So, first, close your eyes or soften your gaze, and you just want to take a few nice, easy breaths. Again, with breath, you don't want to change or alter how you breathe forcefully. You just want to first notice how you breathe, connecting into your rhythm of how you breathe. So I like to close my eyes for it just since it gives me a sense to go inward and see if you can imagine your breath as something coming in through your nostrils and out through your mouth, or in and out through your nose, whichever is resonates more deeply with you. So just take a few moments and just notice how you're breathing. And then if you can take another second or two of this, just see where the breath goes into your body. Is it going into your chest? Is it going into your belly? Is it just kind of staying up in your throat area? There's no judgment. Don't try to change how you're breathing. Just notice where the breath goes. And then I'm going to give you a few little mudras to do to help with this. So we want the breath to have a deep breath so we can get into our rest and relaxation part of our central nervous system. So having deep belly breaths really help massage the organs and get you centered into a certain sort of state so you could start to relax, de-stress, all of those great benefits. But if you have a hard time filling up your belly with breath, that's going to add an extra stressor. You don't want, again, to force anything. This is a lot of just witnessing and just being curious about what you do, how you breathe, your starting point, and then to develop different aspects of where you want to go with this. So there's not just one way. It's not just one ultimate goal. The breath ideally would be nice if you could fill up your belly. You have 3 lobes of your lungs on the right side and your heart and 2 lobes on the left. So if you could fill up your chest with using your full lung capacity and fill up your whole chest with air and your belly, that's this beautiful, nice oxygenating of your system. So especially like if you're really stressed and you're like, oh, I really want to relax, but you're having a hard time breathing because it's just really shallow and you don't want to force it. There's simple mudras you could do, and it's pretty wild and fun. But you just want to take your thumb and your first finger together and just gently put them touching, and just place your hands on your lap for this. And we're going to go and touch all fingers. We're going to do thumb and our first finger, thumb in our middle, thumb in the third, and thumb in our pinky. And while we do this, you're going to see where the breath goes just naturally by placing this hand movement. So place your hands in your lap, bring your thumb and your first finger together, and just close your eyes and just notice where your breath goes into your torso. Just see if you could just sense where the breath naturally goes. Soften your gaze or close your eyes. And then next, go to your middle finger and your thumb. Place those together. And take a breath. And see if you can notice the subtle difference in your breath. And where the breath goes into your body. Then go ahead and take your ring finger, your fourth finger, and your thumb, and place them just tips gently together. And notice if you could see how that is a different place in your body. Just allow your breath to go into your body and see now how it fills up the lower part of your diaphragm into your belly without any effort. And then I'm going to go pinky and thumb. Take a moment to change your hand movement. And with the pinky and thumb, you might feel that you could breathe into your belly and up into your back, your whole torso. And then take your thumb across your pad of your palm and let your fingers just gently fall around your thumb, and your palms could be up or down. And again, see where that breath lands you. Where does the breath go in your body? Again, it kind of usually feels for most people the belly to the chest area into the heart. And then just release your hands and kind of shake out your fingers. And find and typical, sometimes people are a little different. So you want to find the mudra or the hand movement where you felt just easy, that breath just naturally went into your belly. And this is when you want to do like more of a deep relaxation breath, what we're working on today. Or if you're a more advanced sort of breather and it's easy for you to get a nice deep belly breath, you could just don't have to have your hands in any particular order. We're just going to take a couple moments and breathe, and I just really want you to witness your breath. So see how much you go in and out. I don't want you to control it as far as counts and elongating it. This is about connecting to your natural rhythm to find your deep breath, because the idea is that when you're in the middle of a stressful situation, that you can remember how your body breathes deeply, so you don't have to force it, and you could start to naturally navigate into like if you're in a stress response, and then you can navigate into a relaxation response. So we want to be able to go back and forth and work our central nervous system, not in a manipulative way, but to our benefit, so we don't get overly stressed and bogged down. This also works if you're dealing with a lot of emotion. As a side note right now, just as I talk, just focus on your breath and just kind of let the words pass over. Whatever you're meant to hear, you're meant to hear. So just focus on your breath. And this also helps with you deepening your witnessing capacity too, of focusing on what's going on internally, and then also being aware of what's going on externally, and not having to choose, but really expanding yourself in that space. But as a side note, Pluto just went retrograde into Capricorn, and Pluto is one of those planets that, I guess it's not a planet now, but how it affects us humans here is that it likes to deconstruct things, and it likes to dissolve. It likes to end things, and it's in Capricorn, which is structures, and Capricorn is very like structured. It's like institutions, it's foundations, and as the pandemic and everything's happened, we've noticed that all of those things have been changing, like how we work and our jobs, and there's been a lot of loss. And from now until October 6th is a really great time just to honor any losses in your life. And by deep breathing and breathing through those losses and that heartache is a nice support for you're giving yourself a home to allow yourself to grieve all the losses. And it could be anything from a job, it could be just a way of interacting in the world that you know haven't been able to do for the last year. It could be a loss of a loved one. Maybe you got COVID or someone else who did, so that really hit home, and maybe there's still some effects. It could be any and everything. For the next, we have a lot of space for in this Pluto retrograde. It started last week and it'll go till October 6th to honor and let you deeply grieve and give acknowledgement to the losses that you've had. So hopefully you've connected with your breath long enough as I've rambled on, and now we're going to go into a body scan slash, it's really this exercise, the ultimate goal of this body scan is to have you detach from any sort of preconceived notions you have about your body. So if you have pain in your neck all the time, or if you've had knee, or if you've had an illness and something doesn't feel right, that's something chronic, you'd want to just move through those places with new, fresh eyes. And then also acknowledge and the parts of your body that are working well, that have a lot of movement, that you don't have pain. You want to acknowledge that part of your body, but also don't get it too attached to it. You want to look at your body as this beautiful home, and sometimes certain areas need more attention than others, but one's not good nor bad. And again, it strengthens your feeling safe inside of your body. It helps change you on a cellular level, and it helps integrate all the work that we do on an energetic level too. So easy, and this is going to be a short body scan, but you can make this up to an hour or as long as you'd like, or you could shorten it. But I suggest like every day you check in with your body. So you could do the deep breathing after your meditation, or during your meditation to get you into it, and then you can end after your meditation this if you meditate, or you could do this instead of a meditative practice. So for this, you could again lie down, sit up, or stand. Since we're sitting, let's just stay seated and just close your eyes. And I want you just to gently move your neck, or your head and neck, so you're doing little half head rolls, and just make sure they're half. You want your chin just to relax down, and then turn and look over one shoulder, and then drop your chin, doing like a smiley face on your chest with your chin, and look over your other shoulder. So again, just go back and forth. And then when you're ready, you can bring your head straight up. Now, if you have your own like head circles, neck mobility movements that you do, you can do that. But for everyone, typically it's just nice just to do movement so your chin is pretty much in front of your spine the whole time, other than like tipping back your head all the way and lifting your chin back so it's either on top of your spine or behind. Just want to keep your chin in front of that cervical spine and just give nice little neck rolls. And just now here, I want you to notice and just go right and left, change the direction, play with it. See if there's any areas that you feel tense or call your attention to. And see if you could just simply notice them without any judgment or, just any judgment. And then come back to center. Now I want you to take your face and squish it as much as you can. Like squeeze your face, make funny faces, squeeze all the muscles in your face, in your jaw, and then release. And then again, squeeze those muscles in your face and then release. Move your jaw around. And again, notice if there's any tension, any holding, any pain. And just allow it to be there. Do it for a few more seconds. And then go back to your breath for a second. And then move into your shoulders. As you move your shoulders, just do little, like you could do, squeeze your shoulders to your ears and drop. You could do little tiny shoulder rolls back and forth. And again, just see if there's any sort of, usually the shoulders are about the weight of the world, and we just want to relax and let all that tension go. Any sort of burdens or problems, let it all go. And just go back and forth and just notice if there's any crunching or holding. And you're just simply noticing what it is. If there is a body part that you're called to later when we're done to go back to, we'll give you some direction for that. And then just kind of land. And then now we're going to squeeze your shoulder. So squeeze your trap muscles as high up to your ears as you can. And be careful with your own body. You know your own little limitations. You just want to squeeze those top muscles. And we're going to hold it you can hold it up to a minute, which is ideal. But you just want to squeeze, 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 and then release. And then again, squeeze that muscle. Squeeze that top muscle, the trapezius muscle up there. That gets really tight. You want to just squeeze it as hard as you can. And then release. And that should allow your shoulders to drop down a little more. Now we're going to move into a big shoulder movement. So just, again, with any of these movements, your range of motion. So it could be big or small. And you just want to lift your arms up and around. Now we're going to lift those arms up over, ahead, and around. And again, just seeing how this feels. We're getting blood flow to all of our body, and we're paying attention. Now, something really nice you could do as you reverse the circle is you can add on some greetings to your body. You can, especially if you put your body through a lot of stuff, like you make it do a lot of things for you, and you don't get a lot of credit or accolades, is to thank your body for being able to move. You can say hello to the different body parts. Now you're going to move into your bicep and your tricep. And you're going to squeeze your bicep. So you can just squeeze your arms together. So focus on the front of the arm, the top. And you're just going to squeeze, 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 and release. And then squeeze the tricep, the back of the arm. And squeeze, 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 and release. And then again, squeeze your bicep and release, and squeeze your tricep and release. And again, squeeze and squeeze. Now shake out your arms. Now we're going to move to the elbows. So just find a way to do circles with your elbows, forward and back, or one direction then the other. Our arms do a lot of work, and we don't always spend a lot of time figuring out what's going on with them, especially with our phones and typing and, chopping food for us. They do so much. And so see if you could give your body some appreciation and love. And then move into So you have two bones in your forearm, you might already know, and you just want to like squeeze into your forearm and kind of twist and move. Try to get these muscles so you're really moving in your forearm. The forearm adds, we drive, they connect to our wrists. They do a lot of this mobility for us. So you want to make sure you're waking up those muscles. So squeeze in those forearms. Sometimes you have to make fists, turn them, whatever you need to do so you can feel in the area of your forearm. And then shake it out and then move to your wrists. And you can just gently you can move your fingers as you move your wrists and then reverse it. And just notice, especially with your wrists, it's more common now with phones and typing, maybe one hand feels tighter around your wrists as you do circles. And then we're going to move into the palms of the hands and the fingers. So really make really tight fists and squeeze, 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 squeeze. And then open your fingers and just let it flow out. And then again, squeeze, 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 squeeze. And then open and flow out. A lot of times we get into clenched fists and just keep doing this as I talk a little bit. We keep, we want to receive something, we want to do something, but our fists are closed. And it's very symbolic energetically too. So sometimes when we want to release something, we want to push it through and white knuckle it. And really the way to let go and also to receive is to have open palms. So just kind of notice if you're gripping anything. Now work through your fingers. Really allow yourself to get as much movement and dexterity in these fingers. Because, if you're holding your phone all the time, it might be in this one position that's really taxed and you're not giving it, you're not even noting, who would know to wiggle out their fingers to relax their fingers. And then you can do each finger at a time. Or if it's easier, you can take one hand and make little circles with your finger and your thumb. And all this is to also remind you that all of these things we're going through is a part of the whole and a part of you. And the more you can remember that you're this whole person and you give each part of your body some attention, that also just wakes you up to more possibilities as you grow and change. So now bring both your fingers together, or both your hands, interlace your fingers, and just do little circles with your wrist. You're making little figure eights. It might be super uncomfortable, and if it hurts in any way, not in a stretch way, then don't do it. And then just reverse it. And then now try to remember which hand was on top and then switch the finger placement. So naturally one hand will go in one position at a time. So you want to do the opposite and then do the same thing. And keep doing little figure eights. And then when you're ready, press your hands out and reach your hands up. From here, I think of pressing the flat part of your hands up to the ceiling as you slide your shoulders down, stretching through your body like a big morning stretch. Try to relax your neck. And then close your eyes and let your hands just drop down, kind of ragdoll. Let your head just come forward. And focus back on your breath. Close your eyes and take a moment and see how you're feeling. And then we're going to move into the chest. So a good way to kind of do the forward and back that's easy is you want to just give yourself a little bit of a hug. Bring one hand to the opposite shoulder and the other hand and hug. And then go ahead and now bring your arms, elbows back. And then again, just round. Give yourself a hug. Open up the back. And then open up your elbows. So not too vigorous in your stretch. Just so you're going forward, rounding, and then you're opening in the opposite direction. And again, you just want to notice, is it hard for you and to be in one place or the other, and you can switch your arms? Is as you come in, having one hand on top and the other, is that easier? Do you feel tension? And then come to rest. Now bring your hands onto the sides of your ribs. And I just want you to think, if there's no typewriters anymore, but if you can think of going in a line straight and the other way, as you hold on your ribs, just think of bringing your ribs to the side straight. So you're not curving or twisting. You're just trying to slide your ribs to the off center just a little bit, and you're holding your ribs as a guide. And just see how that feels. Does it create any pain in your lower back or spine? And if it does, just only go to where it feels comfortable. Because the ribs and all of this part of your body, there's so many organs here that it protects, and we don't really think always of creating some space in between our rib cage. So now we're going to go forward, same direction. You're just going to think of helping press your ribs forward, and then you're going to pull your ribs back. So where your hands are at the bottom part, you're going to go pull forward and back. And see if you can, where your hands are, you can breathe into your rib cage. You can breathe down into those lower lobes of your lungs. And then rest. And then you can bring, if it's easier for you, you can guide your ribs forward, back and around. We're just going to make a little circle with our ribs. Or you can remove your hands. You just want to give you nice little circles in those ribs. And then let your arms relax. Close your eyes, shake it out. And then we're going to move to your hips. So for this, just think of rocking forward and back. It doesn't have to be a big movement. Remember, we're just waking up our whole body, giving it attention, and just rocking forward and back. And now think, even if you could sit, standing sometimes it's a little easier, but I want you to think that you're lifting one hip up and putting it down, then the other hip. So if you had there's marionettes, with strings that lift body parts, think you have a string on your hip and you're helping lift your hip straight up. And just notice how it feels, and then go rest for a second. Now you're just going to make a little circle in that lower lumbar. Again, if you have pain anywhere in your back, don't make the circle so it gives it pain. Just imagine you're just sending some movement there. You're sending some love and appreciation. You're getting the synovial fluid that your body needs, this kind of oil for your joints worked up. And then go ahead and reverse it. And just notice what's going on with you and your body. And then take a moment and then rest. Now with the legs, you can either extend the legs out if you want to, or you can keep them crossed. And what I want you to think of is really gripping. A lot of times we say not to grip on our thighs, but for this, I want you to grip. I want you to squeeze your quads as much as you can. You can keep squeezing the front of your legs, and then release. And then squeeze, pull up that muscle, pull up that quad. Think that this big muscle here, you're lifting that muscle away from your knees. You're just squeezing, 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 and then release. And one more time, squeeze in this top part of the legs, and then release. Then I want you to do that same thing with your hamstrings. Imagine you're squeezing your hamstrings. So it's a little harder. You can stand up and you can do some things, but you can do it here. You can focus on your hamstrings, squeeze and release, and squeeze and release. One more time, squeeze and release. Now go into the glute muscle. So the glute muscle is very thick and layered, and you really want to squeeze, 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 and relax. We carry a lot of emotion, especially from other people in that area in your bottom, so you want to squeeze, 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 squeeze as hard as you can, and release. One more time. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. So if you're someone that works with clients a lot, and if you know how to safely do the pigeon, relax, and yoga, that is a great stretch in between clients to clear out your energy and their energy in between, because we collect a lot of stuff in these large muscle groups. So you want to make sure that this motion of squeezing and releasing helps blood flow, and you also get to get in touch with areas with like your hamstrings and quads. So now we're going to go to the knees. So however you want to do it, I'm just going to hold my legs up at a time, and I'm just going to kick my foot forward and back. But you can bring both feet together, and you can just kind of circle your knees like this. You can just give yourself some, like your hands can just go around your knees for some attention, but for me, it's just kind of easier to kick my leg forward and back to get my knee working. And then I'm going to go to the other side. Our knees do so much. We really overuse them sometimes. So it's good just to give them a little massage, a little bit of love. And you can massage, especially if you get any knee pain. You know, as women too, sometimes our knees get affected during different types of our cycles. There's maybe you're really an avid walker and you notice around where your cycle is, you might get some weird knee pain. There's many different reasons why, but it's good just to kind of notice that, and to give yourself a little more tender care. You can rub in that area, you can rub above the joint. And with tendons, it's always good if you take both your thumbs and imagine where you know the insertion point of your tendons. It's usually right around your kneecap on both sides. There's these tendons that connect the upper leg and the lower leg. And you want to just take your thumbs and press your tendons in towards each other. And on the other side too, because they get stretched out. So it's just a little applied kinesiology trick. So you're just pressing the tendons towards each other, the thumbs towards each other, and the fingers towards each other. And that just kind of helps, especially if you have some knee pain. So now calves. Now go into the calf muscle, the back, and just squeeze your calf muscles as hard as you can. Squeeze, 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 and then release. And again, squeeze your calf muscle and release. One more time, squeeze and release. Then now the shin, the front of the leg. Squeeze in that area. Rotate your foot, tighten around your knees wherever you can find that you connect to your calf muscle, the front of your shin bone, and squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And again, squeeze, 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 and release. Now go into your ankle. Your feet could stay out. You can lift them up, and you just want to turn your ankle nice and easy and reverse it. And again, notice here, does it feel hard? Do you have tension? No pain, we just want to get some fluid and some energy. And then switch, go to the other leg. Or if your legs are extended, you can do them both at the same time. And then reverse it. And then with your feet, you can't really see on camera, but your feet usually has the same dexterity as your hands. So if your feet are maybe, some people aren't feet people, but if you have a hard time articulating and separating your toes, you might want to give yourself a massage. Might want to pull your toes apart, because it's a lot of applied reflexology, and that's not really my expertise, but I danced for a while and I did some of it. And the more you can articulate through your foot, we have so much bones through there, and we use the weight of our body and gravity, and we don't always give ourselves a lot of time with our feet. And if we start to, like, especially for women, well, maybe not now because we haven't been, but if your toes are like pulled together on one side and pushed in, there's not a lot of space. That also relates into your shoulders, your neck, your head. So you just want to make sure you're giving your feet a lot of love. So go to the other one and just see if you can spread out your toes and pull them back and move through and articulate your foot. And if that's hard, just bring your foot up to you, do little circles, bend your toes forward and back. Again, you don't want it to hurt, but if you don't have any mobility in your toes going forward or back, or it hurts really bad, you want to have, your toes can have the same movement as your fingers. So you don't have to go where you're grabbing things with your toes, but you want to make sure that you have space and mobility. So we've gone through the whole body. So the last thing we're going to do is the spine. And I did this intentionally so everything is warmed up. Your spine connects to everything in your body, and we're just going to do a couple really more, more range of motion in your cat-cows. So place your hands onto your knees. Close your eyes and round in your upper back. Let your head go down naturally. Now, pull your belly button towards your spine and up underneath your rib cage, and really see if you could press the lower back behind you as much and get as much roundedness there as in the upper. And hold it here and just think of rounding even more. Then, as you let go, come up, sit straight up, or stand straight up, and then press your belly forward. Try to keep your shoulders over your hips as you press your chest in front of the shoulder joint to really open up our heart. And your head can just be neutral or look up. And then now pull your belly button back first. That's going to send your lower waist back. Fingers are connected to your knees. Let your head drop round. Exhale it all out here. Really get a nice deep round part of your lower back and your upper. And then start inhaling as you come through center. Keep your shoulders there. Press your chest forward. Think of sliding the shoulder blades together on your back. Pulling your abs in and lifting out of your waist so you're not creating tension in your lower back. And then exhale it all. Pull your belly button in. Let your head round. If you can see yourself with your mind's eye, you want your lower back behind your hips. You want your lower back pressing away from your shoulders. If you can get your shoulders over your hips, that would be great. And then come back to center last time. Press your chest forward, open up, slide the shoulder blades down. Pull your belly button in. Think of elongating your spine forward and up. And then exhale one last time, blow it all out. Let your head drop, really round in your lower and upper back. And then come back to center. Now, if you have time or if you want to, you can note it down. And if you have places calling in your body that need more time and attention than what we did today, you can go back to it and move through it. Sometimes too, there might be emotion there, thoughts might come up, and that might be good to journal as well. So you can shorten this. This is kind of a medium sort of exploration to this, but you can make this a whole hour or plus, or you can make it within 5 minutes, going quickly through your whole body just to give yourself a nice scan and start to appreciate all the parts of your body equally, whether there's pain there or that it's great, like it does everything for you as a rock star, this part of your body, and it doesn't hurt. Just want to start to incorporate the wholeness of who you are. And thank you. If you have any questions, go ahead and you can box for me, or you can put some notes down below the video. Thanks.